Wow, just look at this. If you're here, you've probably already tried planting fruit trees, watered them faithfully, babied them through summer, and watched them struggle anyway. You dig the hole, plant the tree, water every few days, and it either barely survives or quietly dies. These 13 trees are not easy to kill, and yet most people never plant them, not because they're rare, because the right knowledge was never shared. If you want fruit trees that thrive on rainfall alone, you're in the right place. Today I'm revealing 13 fruit trees that thrive on rainfall alone. No irrigation, no babying, no expensive watering systems. Some of these produce abundantly, even through drought. And the last one on this list, it survives conditions that would kill almost any other fruit tree on earth. You'll want to stay till the end for that one. If you love growing food the natural way, without depending on hoses or bills, subscribe now. This channel is built for you. If you want a garden that practically takes care of itself, then you'll love my new ebook, The Lazy Gardener's 30-Minute Garden. It shows you how to grow more food and flowers using simple daily habits that take just 30 minutes a day. Click the link in the description below to grab your copy and start building a low-maintenance garden today. Let's get into the trees. Tree number 1, the fig tree. Fig is the most forgiving fruit tree you will ever grow. Once established, it actively seeks deep groundwater, its roots drilling down far beyond where drought can reach. Core benefit: figs produce 2 harvests per year with 0 supplemental irrigation in most climates. The mechanism is simple. Their root system is disproportionately large compared to their canopy, storing moisture reserves most trees never develop. Unexpected fact: fig trees were among the first cultivated fruits in human history, predating even wheat. They were never designed for irrigation. They were designed for survival. Practical note: plant in full sun, any well-draining soil. Once past the first season, walk away. Demand signal: dried figs are a growing export market. A single mature tree produces up to 200 pounds annually. These trees essentially water themselves, and that's just the beginning. Tree number 2, the pomegranate. Pomegranate is ancient, tough, and wildly underplanted in home gardens. It originates from some of the driest regions on Earth: Iran, Afghanistan, and the Mediterranean, and its entire biology is built around water scarcity. It stores moisture in its thick-skinned fruit, in its woody stems, in its deep lateral roots. Core benefit: pomegranates produce reliable harvests in rainfall as low as 200 millimeters annually. That is near-desert conditions. Unexpected fact: pomegranate trees can live and fruit for over 200 years with no human intervention. There are documented trees in the Middle East still producing today that were planted centuries ago. Practical note: they tolerate poor, rocky, even slightly saline soils. They ask almost nothing. Market signal: pomegranate juice commands premium prices globally. Demand has tripled in the last decade. If fig is the workhorse, pomegranate is the survivor. Tree number 3, the mulberry. Now, mulberry grows faster than almost any other fruit tree and needs less water than nearly all of them. Its root network establishes within the first season, pulling moisture from deep soil layers before summer heat arrives. By year 2, it is essentially drought-proof. Core benefit: a mature mulberry produces fruit for 4 to 6 weeks continuously, hundreds of pounds per tree, without a single watering in established climates. Unexpected fact: mulberry was historically grown across entire continents, not for its fruit, But for silkworms, this means vast ancient groves exist worldwide that have never once been irrigated. Practical note, white, red, or black varieties all perform similarly under drought. Black mulberry has the richest flavor. Demand signal, mulberry is nearly impossible to find commercially because it bruises too easily to ship. Growing your own is the only reliable source. Tree number 4, the jujube. If you have never heard of jujube, that is exactly the problem this video exists to solve. Jujube, also called Chinese date, thrives in temperatures from freezing winters to brutal 110 degrees Fahrenheit summers, in soils so poor other trees refuse to germinate, with rainfall so low most crops fail entirely. Core benefit, jujube requires as little as 150 millimeters of annual rainfall. It produces sweet, apple-flavored fruit that dries naturally on the branch into a date-like superfood. Unexpected fact, in traditional Chinese medicine, jujube has been prescribed for over 4,000 years. It contains 20 times more vitamin C than most citrus, from a tree that needs almost no water. Practical note, plant in full sun. Ignore it. Come back at harvest. Demand signal, jujube commands $8 to $15 per pound at specialty markets. Almost nobody grows it in the West. Remember, stay till the end. Tree number 13 survives conditions that make jujube look fragile. Tree number 5, the olive. Olive trees do not just tolerate drought, they were literally born from it. Originating across the sun-scorched Mediterranean basin, the olive tree's entire anatomy is engineered against water loss. Narrow silver leaves reduce evaporation. Deep taproots chase underground moisture. Thick bark seals in what little humidity exists. Core benefit, established olive trees produce reliable harvests on as little as 250 millimeters of annual rainfall. They actually produce better fruit under mild stress. Irrigation often reduces oil content and flavor. Unexpected fact, the oldest living olive tree on Earth is estimated at over 3,000 years old. It still produces fruit today. No irrigation, no fertilizer, no human intervention beyond harvest. Practical note, olives need a mild winter chill to trigger flowering. They thrive in zones 8 to 11. In colder climates, dwarf varieties in containers perform surprisingly well. Demand signal. Global olive oil demand consistently outpaces supply. A mature grove is a generational asset. Tree number 6, the carob. Carob is one of the most underplanted, undervalued trees in the world, and one of the most drought-resistant fruit trees that exists. It grows across North Africa, the Middle East, and Southern Europe in conditions of extreme heat and near-zero rainfall, producing heavy pods year after year without assistance. Core benefit, carob pods are naturally sweet, containing up to 50% sugar, and serve as a complete chocolate substitute, animal feed, and health food ingredient. One mature tree yields up to 500 pounds of pods annually. Unexpected fact, carob seeds are so uniform in weight that they were used as the original unit of measurement for gold and gemstones. The word carat comes directly from the carob seed. Practical note, carob is slow to establish, 3 to 5 years before first harvest. After that, it is essentially maintenance-free for decades. Demand signal. Carob powder sells at premium prices in health food markets globally, with demand accelerating alongside the chocolate alternative industry. Tree number 7, the persimmon. Persimmon is the tree that quietly outperforms everything planted beside it, with a fraction of the water. Native to China and Japan, Persimmon evolved across climates with irregular, unpredictable rainfall. Its response was a root system that spreads wide and deep simultaneously, capturing moisture from multiple soil layers at once. Core benefit: persimmons fruit heavily in autumn, when most other trees are finished, extending your harvest season naturally. They require minimal water once past their second year. Unexpected fact: persimmon wood is among the hardest of any fruit tree. Native Americans used it for tools. The tree's toughness is not just biological, it runs through every fiber. Practical note: choose astringent varieties like hachia for drying, or non-astringent fuyu for fresh eating. Both perform equally well under drought conditions. Demand signal: Asian grocery markets pay premium prices for fresh persimmons. Supply rarely meets local demand in Western markets. Tree number 8, the quince. Quince has been grown for thousands of years across some of the world's harshest landscapes, and modern gardeners have almost completely forgotten it exists. It tolerates drought, poor soil, and neglect with equal patience, producing large, fragrant, golden fruit that no supermarket carries and no commercial orchard bothers to grow at scale. Core benefit: quince makes extraordinary preserves, jellies, and slow-cooked dishes. It is high in pectin, meaning it gels naturally without additives. One tree produces more fruit than most families can process. Unexpected fact: quince was the original golden apple of Greek mythology, not the apple we know today. It was considered the fruit of love, wisdom, and abundance across the ancient world. Practical note: quince is self-fertile, so a single tree produces fully without a pollinator. It handles clay soils and seasonal flooding better than almost any other fruit tree on this list. Demand signal: artisan jam and preserve markets are expanding rapidly. Quince commands the highest price per pound of any common preserved fruit. Tree number 9, the elderberry. Elderberry grows where other trees refuse: riverbanks, roadsides, disturbed soil, partial shade, and it does it without complaint. While not a traditional tree in the orchard sense, elderberry reaches tree height and produces enormous clusters of dark berries that have become one of the most commercially valuable botanical products in the world. Core benefit: elderberry is the backbone of the immune supplement industry. Elderberry syrup, extract, and gummies represent a billion-dollar global market, and the raw berry supply consistently falls short of demand. Unexpected fact: every part of the elderberry plant has documented traditional medicinal use across European, Native American, and Asian healing traditions independently, cultures that never interacted, arriving at identical conclusions. Practical note: plant in any moist but not waterlogged soil. Elderberry is one of the few trees on this list that actually prefers slightly wetter conditions, but survives drought once established. This is where most people stop planting. The next 4 trees are where the real discoveries begin. Tree number 10, the hackberry. Hackberry is the tree almost no one plants, and the tree that almost no condition can kill. It grows in flooding. It grows in drought. It grows in compacted urban soil, in alkaline clay, in sand, in neglect so complete that most plants would have died within a season. Hackberry simply does not stop. Core benefit: hackberry produces small, sweet, date-like berries in enormous quantities, every single year, without irrigation, without fertilizer, without pruning. Birds love them. Humans can eat them straight from the branch. They taste remarkably like a mild chocolate-cherry combination. Unexpected fact: hackberry was a primary survival food for Native American tribes across the Great Plains, one of the few reliable food sources that persisted through the harshest droughts in North American history. Entire communities survived winters on dried hackberries when everything else failed. Practical note: hackberry grows in zones 2 to 9. That range covers nearly every climate in North America. If you live somewhere with winters, this tree will outlast every other tree on this list in cold hardiness. Demand signal: hackberry is virtually absent from commercial markets, meaning anyone who grows and processes it at scale enters a market with almost zero competition. Tree number 11. The mayhaw. Mayhaw is a southern secret that the rest of the world has not discovered yet. A Native American hawthorn species, mayhaw produces brilliant red berries in spring, before almost any other fruit tree on your property has even flowered. In wetlands, floodplains, and seasonally dry uplands alike. Core benefit: mayhaw jelly is considered a regional delicacy across the American South, commanding prices that dwarf standard fruit preserves. Nay, a single productive tree yields enough berries for dozens of jars annually. Unexpected fact: mayhaw trees have been documented producing fruit for over 50 consecutive years, with zero supplemental care in native growing regions. They are not just drought tolerant, they are self-sustaining ecosystems in tree form. Practical note: mayhaw prefers zones 6 to 9 and performs best in areas with occasional seasonal moisture. But established trees handle summer drought without yield loss. Demand signal: mayhaw jelly sells for $12 to $20 per jar at farmers markets and specialty stores. Supply is almost entirely limited to backyard producers. Commercial scale barely exists. Tree number 12. The pawpaw. Pawpaw is the largest edible fruit native to North America and one of the best-kept secrets in sustainable agriculture. It grows naturally in forest understory conditions, meaning it evolved to thrive with filtered light, natural leaf litter, and zero irrigation beyond seasonal rainfall. It is one of the few fruit trees on this list that actually prefers partial shade. Core benefit: pawpaw fruit tastes like a cross between banana, mango, and vanilla custard. It requires no peeling, no processing. Split it open and eat it with a spoon. Nutritionally, it outperforms apple, peach, and grape in protein, magnesium, iron, and several essential amino acids. Unexpected fact: pawpaw was a favorite fruit of George Washington, who reportedly chilled it and served it as a dessert. Thomas Jefferson grew it at Monticello. It was once widespread across eastern North America, and then commercial agriculture simply forgot it existed. On practical note: pawpaw needs a pollinator. Plant at least 2 different varieties within 50 feet of each other. After establishment, they spread naturally into productive groves through root suckers, multiplying your harvest without replanting. Demand signal: pawpaw cannot be commercially shipped. It bruises within 24 hours of harvest and has a shelf life of just a few days. This makes local and direct sale markets the only viable channel, and demand consistently exceeds what growers can supply. Tree number 13. The mesquite. This is the one. The tree that survives where survival should be impossible. Mesquite grows in the Sonoran Desert, in the Atacama Fringe, in alkaline flats where rainfall measures in single digits annually. Its taproot has been documented reaching 160 feet into the earth, deeper than almost any plant on the planet, chasing water sources that no drought can touch. Core benefit: mesquite produces long, sweet seed pods that are ground into a flour with a rich, caramel-like flavor. It is naturally gluten-free, low glycemic, and extraordinarily high in protein and fiber. Traditional desert communities relied on it as a complete nutritional staple for thousands of years. Unexpected fact: mesquite flour commands $15 to $30 per pound in specialty health food markets. The tree that grows in pure sand, in temperatures exceeding 120 degrees Fahrenheit, with no water, no care, and no intervention, produces one of the most valuable agricultural products per pound of anything on this list. Practical note: mesquite is hardy in zones 7 to 11. In its growing range, it requires absolutely nothing after planting. It is not just drought tolerant, it is drought indifferent. This is a tree that nature spent millions of years perfecting for exactly the conditions most gardeners consider hopeless. And it produces food worth more per pound than most crops that demand constant irrigation and expensive inputs. If you are still watching, you already understand something most gardeners never figure out. The best food-producing trees are not the ones sold at every nursery. They are not the ones featured in mainstream gardening magazines. They are the ones that were quietly grown for centuries before commercial agriculture decided they were not profitable enough to promote. You have just met 12 of them. But before we close, I want to show you something important. Something the gardening industry would genuinely prefer you never think about. Because if every backyard grower planted even 3 trees from this list, trees that need no irrigation, no purchased inputs, no ongoing dependency on commercial systems, an entire supply chain loses its hold on your food. That is not a small thing. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you in the next section is the real reason these trees disappeared from common knowledge in the first place. And once you see it, you will understand exactly why sharing this video matters. If you're tired of spending hours in the garden, pulling weeds and constantly watering plants, I created something just for you. My ebook, The Lazy Gardener's 30-Minute Garden, shows you simple systems that make gardening easier, smarter, and way less work. Just click the link in the description below and download your copy today. Here is what nobody in the gardening industry wants you to know. Drought-resistant fruit trees do not sell irrigation systems. They do not sell water-soluble fertilizers. They do not sell expensive rootstock or replacement saplings when your high-maintenance tree dies in a dry summer. The entire infrastructure of modern commercial gardening is built around trees and plants that need constant inputs, constant purchases, constant dependency. If everyone knew that figs, pomegranates, and mesquite produced abundantly with nothing but rainfall, the drip irrigation market alone loses billions. This is not conspiracy. This is simple economics. The knowledge was never hidden with malice. It was crowded out, quietly replaced by products that generate repeat revenue. Traditional farmers knew these trees. Homesteaders knew them. Indigenous communities built entire food systems around them. That knowledge does not get monetized, so it does not get marketed. So it disappears from common awareness within a generation or two. What you are watching right now is practical knowledge that simply does not fit inside a shopping cart. That is exactly why it lives here, and why sharing it is the only way it survives. I want to give you a realistic picture of what to expect. In year 1, most of these trees ask only one thing: get through establishment. Water occasionally through the first summer. That is the entire investment. By year 2, the root systems have found their depth. Drought hits, and you will notice something remarkable. While neighboring gardens struggle, these trees do not even show stress. And by year 3, you are harvesting, not experimenting, not hoping, harvesting. I have watched fig trees planted in pure gravel produce 40 pounds of fruit in their 3rd season without a single irrigation. I have seen pomegranates fruit through a summer that received less than 3 inches of rainfall total. Persimmons loaded with fruit in October while the soil around them was cracked and dry. Jujube dropping sweet dates onto bone-dry ground in August heat. These are not exceptional results. They are what happens when you plant trees that are matched to reality instead of matched to a marketing catalog. If something goes wrong in year 1, the tree looks stressed, leaves curl early, add mulch heavily around the base. The tree will tell you what it needs. Mulch is almost always the answer. And these 13 trees are more than just drought-tolerant options for your garden. They are a different relationship with food entirely. Every tree on this list was grown by people who had no irrigation systems, no garden centers, no monthly delivery of fertilizer bags. They grew food in deserts, in rocky hillsides, in climates that modern agriculture would declare unviable, and they fed families, communities, and entire civilizations doing it. We did not improve on that knowledge when we replaced it. We simply forgot it in exchange for convenience. What you plant this season is a decision about dependency. Every high-maintenance tree you replace with a fig, a pawpaw, a mesquite is one less bill, one less system, one less point of failure between your family and food. That is not a small act. Resilience does not begin with stockpiling. It begins with planting the right things in the ground and trusting what nature already perfected over thousands of years. These trees existed before irrigation. They will exist long after it. The question is simply whether they exist in your garden. If this video changed how you think about what you plant, hit like. It takes 1 second and it helps this knowledge reach people who need it. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Practical, no product, no nonsense growing knowledge that the mainstream gardening world rarely talks about. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And I want to hear from you in the comments right now. Which of these 13 trees are you already growing? And which one surprised you most? If it was mesquite, I completely understand. That one changes people. If you know someone with a yard, a homestead, or even a single patch of ground in a dry climate, share this video with them. What they learn here could save them years of failed plantings and wasted water bills. Every tree on this list is available, affordable, and ready to go in the ground this season. You now know what to plant. The only thing left is to plant it. See you in the next one. Imagine spending just 30 minutes a day in your garden and still harvesting more vegetables, herbs, and flowers than ever before. That's exactly what I show you inside the Lazy Gardener's 30-Minute Garden. Click the link in the description below and grab your copy today so you can start your low-effort garden system right away.